Next question says, is it okay to go for a max single if I'm feeling really good during my warm-ups? This is with touch and go and competition bench. I'd rather you not. I'd rather you stick with the rep and RPE combinations. So if it calls for a single at an 8, I'd rather you stick to that. I'd rather you take that single that's slightly submaximal and destroy it rather than push more for a heavier single. It's because it's a long-term strategy, or at least a mid-term strategy. We want you to be exposed to those singles and gradually move the weight up. There's a recovery cost to basically any training, which I'm sure you know. That recovery cost is tied to primarily two things. There's your training volume and your psychological arousal. A single at any reasonable weight is going to be, for all intents and purposes, a similar amount of volume. A single at 95% or even 90% is going to be roughly the same amount of volume as a single at 100%. I mean, there's no practical difference between the two. The main difference comes from psychological arousal. And even if you're not intending to get super psyched up, you know that it's going to be a hard set. So you will get more psyched up than you otherwise would. And that's where the additional recovery cost comes into play for the higher RPE singles. Especially if you have never been exposed to this weight before, it's going to be a difficult weight. It's a PR even. That's going to come with a significantly higher recovery cost. And at that point, it can throw off, other parts of the training program. What's more, we've noticed that if we have those heavier types of singles, singles at 9 or 10 RPE, that the time to peak for an athlete is a lot faster than singles at 8. Singles at 8 tend to be a lot more sustainable. So with that in mind, I would rather you didn't. Although I do understand that if you feel like a PR is there, part of you wants to seize the day. I mean, you're going to do what you're going to do. My recommendation would be to stick to the plan, though.